The following announcement has been paid for by the WZWA Network.
Whoa, what an afternoon, evening, day it's been here for Hogsley. I'm here with the WZWA, and today, as a special treat for all our American fans and American football fans around the world, I am going to be reviewing the Kansas City Chiefs win over the Philadelphia Eagles here at Super Bowl 57, and wow, what a game it is. I've only just finished it myself, and I'm still just... Oh, jeez. That was entertaining. That was entertaining stuff. In fact, look, I don't have any NFL jerseys, but I decided to rock the next best thing. Well, let's get into it. A few things I'd like to talk about today. Obviously, the game itself. I want to talk about what this means for the Eagles and Hurts, who had an incredible game, by the way. Obviously, what this means for Mahomes and his legacies. We'll touch on the halftime show. But to start things off, let's actually break down what happened here today, here at Super Bowl 57. It was an amazing game, probably one of the best I've seen. Look, to be honest, I am a casual fan. I do watch a lot of other sports. There's never enough time, but you know what? I'll always make time for the Super Bowl, and there's a very good reason for that, and that's games like today. I don't even know where to start. There's so much to talk about. Look, I honestly think this was a very well-played game by both offenses here today. It was high-scoring, it was entertaining, and you know what? It was smart. It was a lot of smart football, especially at the end of it. Obviously, coming down to the final possession, we had the Kansas City Chiefs really just milking that clock, knowing that the field goal would win it. They passed up the touchdown late in it, did whatever they can to milk that clock, and finally pulled it off in the end, winning Mahomes his second, getting ahead of myself. I'm sure he'll win a third, but a second Super Bowl MVP. Look, you know what? I'm getting ahead of myself. So we got to go right back to the beginning here. That's the opening drive of the game. That's where I should have started it. Look, what a way to start a Super Bowl, everyone. Absolutely incredible to have both teams score on their first possession of the game. You know what? The Eagles got the ball to start, and what did they score on? You know, I've got it here in my notes. 11 plays and 5 minutes. There we are. Sorry about that. 11 plays and 5 minutes to cover 75 yards for the first touchdown of the game. You know what? From the get-go, I'm like, it's the Eagles games, right? The way Hurts was playing early on and the entire game was absolutely incredible. I've not really ever seen anyone play so well under pressure in the pocket. His passes were so crisp, right? His rushing, all right? The guy broke two, count them, 1, 2 Super Bowl records just in rushing. Look, an absolutely incredible performance by Hurts. I don't think he has... Look, to lose, it's devastating, but as you all know, football it's two teams for every team kind of game. You can be the best on offense, but if your defense is cooking it, right, it doesn't matter how well you play, okay? You will still lose the game. And I think that was a big part of why the Eagles didn't get the win here tonight, because I do believe that Hurts outplayed Mahomes, which is crazy to think, right? Mahomes, you know, I never wanted to give him his flowers. I'll do it now. He does deserve all the praise he gets. Look, we'll touch on it later, but he may be one of the greatest to ever play in the quarterback position. Definitely, as a new generation of fans growing up, he is possibly the best player currently in the NFL. But after that, sorry about that. You think after that opening drive by the Eagles, that's it. They've got this worked out. They are crushing the Kansas City defense. You know what? And KC were giving it their all to really set the tone early on. Some of these tackles by the KC defensemen, there was one play early on in the first drive. The guy was on his way out of bounds. I can't remember the player on offense. But the defense still gave him a hard hip and shoulder. Just took him right out. They were telling the Eagles players this is the Super Bowl, and we're going to give it our all tonight. But Hurts was just a magician out there. And he really just made it look so easy. And that was until Mahomes came onto the field and they made their opening drive look even easier. What was their play? It was only like 3 minutes. So within the first 8 minutes of this Super Bowl, we have had 2 touchdowns. Absolutely insane, an insane way to kick off the Super Bowl. You knew it was going to be a high-scoring affair. That was the build-up. The entire time, all we ever heard about was this is going to be a shootout between these 2 hot offenses, and that's what it was. That's how it started, and that is how it continued. Look, like I said, I don't want to give Mahomes his flowers. Well, I didn't. I will. But you've also got to give a lot of credit to the, not even role players. These are also superstars for the Kansas City Chiefs. I thought Travis Kelce, look, you know what? I've always heard as an Aussie fan that Mahomes is the new Brady. Now, I still think Brady is the greatest of all time. 6 rings, that's going to be hard to beat. But if Mahomes is the new Brady, Kelce is his Gronkowski. He's definitely another Hall of Fame tight end. Some of the routes he was running, the ability to catch it at that size with that athleticism, look, that was Gronk. That was Gronk to me. I think what a great chemistry he has with Mahomes. But all that being said, all the praise I can possibly land on the Kansas City offense, I actually believe, and look, I might be wrong, you can tell me in the comments, he did have 3 touchdown passes. He had a great run towards the end of the game, Mahomes. But it was the defense and the special teams that won it here for the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, look, it's heartbreaking. If you are an Eagles fan, look, I feel very sorry for you. You had a lot of penalties not go your way. You, at the third quarter, burning 2 of those timeouts, leaving only 1 going into the fourth. I think that really... Look, maybe it doesn't cost you, maybe it does, but to enter the fourth quarter in a close game like that with only 1 timeout is hard, right? That's a hard thing to get through. But for as well as Hurts played, to fumble it off his leg there in, what was it, the second or third, that's got to be devastating. You know, he had pressure. Look, I'll admit that there was pressure on him, but he wasn't being tackled. You know, he wasn't making a pass that was wrong. He just bounced it right off. Look, ready? Boom! Bounced it off that leg, and that was what cost him a touchdown. What was it? The first, maybe. Look, and you know what? That with a game that only comes down to 3 points, to give up 7 points on such a silly possession like that, that's got to really, really hurt. And then special teams, right? You had Supposa, the AFL player, kicking off, punching off, whatever the word is. I've got it here. Was it 60-something yards on the punt return? That play in its own by the special teams put Kansas City right in position to score another touchdown. Maybe they do anyway, maybe they don't. But to have such great field advantage to start the drive with such an amazing player like Mahomes, you're just basically giving him the touchdown. And now all credit to the returner, Tony Kadarius. Kadarius Tony with a 64-yard return on the punt. Another record broken here in the Super Bowl. What is that now? It's like 3 or 4. We got an amazing game here today, and to follow it up with so many records being broken. Look, I love that about all modern sports now. All these records where we thought these would never be broken. People are coming up through the ranks, and they're just evolving the game, right? We just had LeBron James break Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's scoring record. No one thought that would be done, right? And you know what? He's not up and coming. He's probably at the end of his career. But look, I love it. It's a great time to be a sports fan, whether it be your NBA, whether it be your NFL, whether it be your MLB. Whether it be some of the Aussie sports, which you should all get behind, AFL, right? Another great sport. The talent that is coming up through the ranks is just incredible, and it's an incredible thing to watch. I've been talking about how high impact the scoring was. And I've been talking about, the battle between Hurts and Mahomes and who played better. Look, I think it was Hurts. I do think he outplayed Mahomes. I do think Kansas City got a lot from its defense, from its special teams. But as much as the defense saved Kansas City, I do think if you're a Philadelphia fan, if you're an Eagles fan, you've got to be a bit upset with how your defense covered some of the offensive plays by Kansas City. There was one in particular. I believe it was a touchdown to give Kansas City the lead. There was absolutely zero defenders covering him. Right? Everyone rushed to their left, leaving the guy on the right. He could have cartwheeled in if he wanted to. Right? He had time to fucking dance and woo all his way into the touchdown, in for the touchdown, right? You can't have that happen. This is the Super Bowl we are talking about. All the little mistakes. Mahomes made it look easy, but was it? I don't think it was him just being a magician on the field. I do believe it was the Eagles, just the defense that cooked it. And then you know what? Going back to Hurts, despite him fumbling and cost him a touchdown, that's going to hurt. It's going to hurt for the entire Eagles offense. When you're seeing Mahomes come onto the field and score within 3 minutes, make a 26-yard run himself or whatever it was. Absolutely, look, insane. It was an insane offensive game with lots of highlights. Highlights? Didn't even mention it. I'm going to keep praising Hurts. I'm going to keep getting on my knees in front of Hurts because what? These passes, I told you they were crisp, but some of them were long. To start the second with that 45-yard bomb to A.J. Brown, I think it was, that was incredible. You know what? I was just sitting there, I'm enjoying my drink, I'm watching the game, I'm being quiet. That was a play that got me out of my seat and audibly yelling. That is when I knew that this was the Super Bowl, right? The opening drives were fine, they were great, they were fun, but a play like that is pure magic. That's the stuff you expect from Patrick Mahomes, okay? I've watched every Super Bowl for the last couple of years. Pat Mahomes has made the last 3 also incredible. Some of the throws, even if they weren't complete against the Buccaneers, the one where he's falling down, he's like, woo! Mind-blowing stuff. I'm sure plays like this happen all the time, but the balls it takes for Hurts to throw that in the Super Bowl and the absolute insane over the shoulder catch. I know Kelsey had one that was similar, but nothing like that. There were 2 defenders on that guy, right? And he shook them both. He shook them, and he caught it after. Honestly, I was out of my seat. I was loving that. An absolute mind-blowing play. Look, you know what? I can't give enough credit to Hurts. I feel so bad for any Eagles fan for not pulling off this win. You were up 10 points going into the half. You were still up going into the third. I didn't think Mahomes was playing all that well in the first half. He, at one point, looked like he wasn't coming back on the field. He was limping off. He looked like he was done for. If you were a Philadelphia fan, you would have already been rioting in the street. Apparently, you guys already were before the game. And to have it come down to that field goal, that's got to be brutal. I'm sorry. I understand you may want to blame the refs. I think a few of those penalties that didn't go your way should have been overturned. I do think a lot of them cost you some drives. I have it here. Look, the fumble. The fumble from Hurts that I keep on mentioning. I believe that cost the Eagles the game. That all started from a 3rd and 1. 1 yard to a first down. And what was it? A false start, offside, neutral zone infraction. They're all the same to me. I don't know. You pick up the flag there. And all the dude was doing was leaning over. He was just leaning. His feet were still in the same place. I don't understand. He just put his fucking chin over it. And that cost him 5 yards. So now it's 3rd and 6. So you've got to do something more drastic. You can't just quickly just push someone over the line, which you know what, Philly were doing a lot. Anytime there was 1 yard to go, just give Hurts the ball and just push him in the back, and he was falling over for the first down anyway. But because of that one penalty, they were forced to go into a passing play. You were forced to make Hurts get the ball and make a move. And what does he do? He fumbles it. He would not have fumbled it had that penalty not happened. I mean, once again, I'm sorry, Philly fans. That's gotta hurt to know that such simple shit like that is probably what cost them the game. I mean, look, you never know what's going to happen. Yeah, the butterfly effect. Maybe they score then. Maybe they get all high and mighty. Yeah, we've won the game. Let their foot off the gas. Mahomes scores 10 touchdowns on his own. Yeah, who knows, right? Probably not, but you can never say what will happen. But I know what did happen. I know that particular play probably cost them that one touchdown, right? There is no way he would have fumbled the ball on that particular play had it not been for the fact he was forced to pass it. And that was just one of the penalties that the Eagles got. And, you know, it went both ways. I think it was fair. I just think the penalties that went towards the Eagles cost them a bit more. It was a bit more impactful onto the overall result. But, look, if there's anything to be happy about, if you can be Eagles fans, I do think Hurts played amazing. I think A.J. Brown is an incredible wide receiver for you guys. Look, those two alone, I don't know the contract situations, but both of them. Look, I think A.J. Brown had 1,000 passing catches, yards in just a single season, which was a new record there for the Eagles. You've got this quarterback in Hurts, second in rushing yards, breaking 2 Super Bowl records, right? If these people are your future, if these two guys are your future, I wouldn't be shocked to see you guys here in the next one. Look, I don't know what happened there. You guys were up 10, and it came crumbling down, and fuck, that's, yeah. I don't know, but if you're going to take solace in anything, take solace in the fact that 2 of these players for your team did some incredible things. All right, I was stunned. I was amazed. I was enjoying myself. And look, it should have been yours if not for the penalties, if not for the fumble, if not for cooking your timeouts. The game was yours. I don't think you were just beaten by Mahomes. Despite being the Super Bowl MVP, I don't think it was the best performance he's had in the Super Bowl. And so you can't be too upset, all right? You can't be. But at the end of the day, to come down, look, I've got so much more to say. It keeps popping in my head because it was such a wild game, such an entertaining game. To be down by 8 points, to get the touchdown, to get the 2-point conversion, to tie the game there, for it to then end on the field goal after Kansas City melting off the clock. It was smart football. It was entertaining football, and yeah, look, what a Super Bowl. Honestly, one of the best I've ever watched. I've watched a few. I obviously quite liked Patriots versus Atlanta Falcons. Sorry, Atlanta Falcons. And wow, that's the one that pops to mind. That was also just an insane Super Bowl, and I think this ranks up there with just a edge of your seat kind of experience here. And look, I'd love for you all to comment. I may have been wrong a lot of times. I'm sure I was wrong a lot of times, but, let me know. Let me know, okay? I'm just happy to have watched it, happy to have experienced it, and happy to be talking about it. So, look, we'll stop there. The breakdown of the game, I think I've mentioned a few of the points I wanted to get to. The halftime show. I do want to talk about this just briefly, obviously. I think, what a performance by Rihanna. I skip the halftime shows. I don't care. If I wanted to listen to music, I've got Spotify, I've got YouTube. You know what? I can obviously just watch the halftime show through TikTok videos, I'm sure, later on in the day, through my girlfriend. I don't care. But you know what? If I'm going to give Mahomes his flowers, I'll give Rihanna hers. That was a hell of a performance. She's got a great voice. She did all the hits. The pageantry was just... It was wicked, There's been some disappointing halftime shows. This wasn't one of them. There was the lighting. There was 100 people on the field. The fact that she was pregnant as well, goddamn. Alright, goddamn. She was being risen like what? 60 feet in the air or whatever it is? I'd be shitting bricks, right? Let alone being able to perform in front of how many people were there? 90,000, 100,000, I don't know. And then you're pregnant, right? One wrong move and you know that something's going to happen, right? Yeah, I'd be stressed. I'd be stressed out of my mind. And the way she just carried herself and gave a great performance, I've heard people say it's one of the best performances for a halftime show. Props to her. She's got some bangers, banging tunes, and she's got a banging voice, and she did a hell of a job. Okay, but I won't say too much more about that. I'm not here to talk about that. I do want to touch on two more things, just briefly. What is Mahomes' legacy from here? What does this mean for his legacy? He now has 2 MVPs in the regular season. 2 Super Bowl rings, 2 Super Bowl MVPs. That is some GOAT tier company. Okay? There are not many... Look, some of the greatest quarterbacks of all time have only ever won 2 or 1 Super Bowl in their entire career. He's already got 2, and he's still young. He's only, 27 years old? 26, 27 years old, right? I think that's right. And he's already got 2 MVPs and 2 Super Bowl MVPs, right? He's only one, count them, one of 11 people in all of NFL history. And the NFL's been going for a long time, mind you, to win the MVP, with the regular season MVP, and the Super Bowl MVP in the same season. And you know what? Okay, sometimes people are playoff performers, sometimes they're not, but the fact that you can so consistently good from the start of the season all the way to getting your ring, that is something to applaud, all right? It obviously is. Only 11 people have ever done it, okay? And he's only one of 13 people to have 2 Super Bowl rings. And like I said, he's still young. Eli and Peyton Manning only have 2 each themselves, right? They ain't winning anymore. He will win another. Look, I swear, you can put money on it. If there is a bet right now, if Patrick Mahomes will win another Super Bowl, you bet the house on it, okay? He is going to. He is an absolute stud in this league. I said I didn't want to give him his flowers. That's because he's young, good looking, one of the best of all time, makes a lot of money, and I'm old and fat. Okay? Obviously, I'm going to be like, well, bugger you. I don't like that. I want to be that. But I'm going to have to just bite the bullet, alright? What he does on the football field is just insane. He's just got that championship quality to him. He is just the next Tom Brady, alright? Whether you're playing well or not, your intangibles as a leader to just bring your team, just carry them, even if it's the last quarter. I'll go back to basketball and know more about that. Sometimes you might be 0 for 10 in the first 3 quarters. But it's the superstars, it's the great ones, who then go to the 4th quarter and they will their team to a lead by scoring 25 points in the last quarter. He willed his team to this comeback here tonight. Whether he deserved it, whether it was the defense, whether it was the special teams, at the end of the day, the quarterback always gets the credit. He won the Super Bowl MVP. He had the 3 passing touchdowns. He had that insane rush to end the game to obviously put them in field goal position. He willed his team to another win here tonight and for another ring himself. So the question for all of you, hopefully listening, is where do you rank Patrick Mahomes now, all time? Does this, at this young age of his, is he already top 10 quarterback of all time? I think so, right? I mean, I don't know a lot about the history. I still think Tom Brady's the GOAT. I obviously think Joe Montana is amazing. All right, I think the Manning brothers were obviously very good, but the accolades and the records that this man, Patrick Mahomes, has already accrued, it's insane. And that's why I didn't want to give him his flowers, but you've got to admit that this guy is just an incredible player. And obviously deserve it. I'm all over the shop. Whether I don't know if I like him or dislike him. He won the MVP for the game. I still think it was Eagles to win and they lost. I still think it was the defense. Look, I didn't even mention the fact that they almost had another fumble return for a touchdown if it wasn't called an incomplete pass or whatever it was. Look, I've got to move on. But they almost had another one. The defense almost had another one. And it was the same player as well. He would have had 2 fumble return touchdowns in a Super Bowl, which I'm positive, would have been another record broken. Crazy. But we'll leave it there for Mahomes. I'll quickly touch on the Eagles and Hurts. I've obviously said it's very devastating for the Eagles. I obviously think Hurts was... he played incredible. Okay, you can't be upset if you're Hurts. The passing, it was accurate. It was crisp. He was making the long bombs. He was doing the rushing yards. He was doing everything he possibly could to make Philadelphia win. And you know what, Hurts? You've got to be kicking yourself for fumbling the ball, but don't. Okay. There was so much more opportunities for your team, and you were carrying them every step of the way. He was my player of the game by far. If it wasn't for that other stuff I've mentioned, I'm sure the Eagles would have won. And you know what? If the Eagles won, I guarantee Hurts was the MVP. For sure. He outplayed Mahomes. I'm sticking by that. He outplayed Mahomes. 2 rushing touchdowns, a passing touchdown. The record's broken. The highlight plays. Insane. But I think I've talked all I possibly can about what an amazing game this was. Just to finish up here, I wanted to give a quick shout out to Nick Rewalt. So good to see the Aussie boy, the St Kilda player on the broadcast team. I hope we do see more of that. To have him and Sipos, the punter, also playing for St Kilda Saints, it was just, I don't know. I'm an Aussie boy. We're all Aussie boys here in the WZWA Network. We love our AFL. If you have never actually seen any AFL, I do recommend it. I do think it's a hell of an entertaining game. Maybe it was as entertaining as the Super Bowl. That's up for you to decide. I do think there are some grand finals that are, whoa, just absolutely heart-pumping kind of intensity. What was it? West Coast Eagles 2018. I think that was an absolute amazing game. But, look, I'll leave it there for today. What an amazing day. What an amazing game of football. Kansas City winning another championship. Mahomes moving up the ladder of greatest of all time. Eagles giving a hell of a showing for themselves, but just falling short. I don't think we could have asked for anything more as fans, or even casual fans. I think anyone who would watch this game, if you've never seen the NFL, if you've never seen American football, this was the kind of game that makes a fan out of you. And you know what? maybe I'll need to watch more next season. Maybe I'll need to watch more games because I got to say that was a hell of an entertaining game. But look, I'm going to call it there. This has been Hogsley. This has been the WZWA Network. And we will all, well, me, I will see you down the road.
WZWA Network, that's the way we play. Good God Almighty. WZWA Network, that's the way we play. Get puppies. WZWA Network, that's the way we play. Get.
The following announcement has been paid for by the WZWA Network.